Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. I gotta tell ya, this has gotta be one of the dumbest plays I think the Democrats have made in recent memory. And that, I think, is saying a lot. You know, they really thought they had something here. Ooh, this is our moment. Although it kinda seems like Democrats feel as though everything that Donald Trump does is their next moment to prove that he's a fascist. They thought the US Army's 250th anniversary, the military parade in DC, was gonna be their moment to expose Donald Trump once and for all. The narrative, of course, that a military parade equals dictatorship, but here we go, it's yet again another Democrat miscalculation, and the final result is a total backfire as per usual. Their little pathetic smear attempt here is so freaking weak that the Democrats seemingly can't even convince their own senators that this Trump military parade was a bad thing. Let me show you guys a couple clips and give you my final thoughts on the whole event. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so let's first start off with the usual suspects. The people at MSNBC are practically having a panic attack on air.
Yeah, and Paul, when you look at sort of this parade, which again, as we've taken pains to emphasize, is something a lot of people can get behind. You mentioned the National Guard, you mentioned the events of this week. How do you think this stacks up against what are also the concerns of some Americans, that it feels at times like a show of force or an effort to push militarization? The Marines are following orders in LA. We just had reporting and Jacob Soboroff out there showing them trying to responsibly do crowd control. We didn't see anything going into a melee. But there are a lot of experts we've heard from who said that's not really the first, second, or third thing the Marines are usually supposed to do, patrolling crowds in LA.
I understand those concerns. I share those concerns. I think this military parade is wrong for a number of reasons, but especially because it continues to insert our military in the politics of this country. Trump continues to make it seem like they're his military. The speech at Fort Bragg this week was disgusting and shameful and unprecedented. And even the deployment of the National Guard is an escalation that's unnecessary and an abuse of power. And the Marines in LA is the next step. And I think what we'll see tonight, you know, so far so good in D.C., you'll probably see Trump give an overtly political speech at the end of it, which will contaminate the whole thing and continue to pull our troops into a place where America trusts them less, because he's manipulating them, because he's politicizing them, because he's abusing them. He's reducing their popularity. And that's really dangerous, because Americans don't respect them as much. Americans don't trust them as much. Americans fear them in some places. And that's understandable as they see this increased militarization that culminates with this. But it's also important, I think, to note, Ari, this is not the end. This is the playbook going forward. So this parade is probably the first of many. And this is part of Trump's larger plan to expand his grip on power and to leverage the military as an instrument of that power.
They're calling it a show of force and connecting it to Donald Trump deploying the Marines in LA. He's sending the Marines to LA and now flexing military might on the people. First of all, what an incredibly stupid comment. But secondly, while attempting to create this sinister connection between Donald Trump's deployment of the Marines in LA, the guy basically debunked himself. Ooh, and this comes as he's sending the Marines to LA, who are actually just engaging in crowd control from what we've seen so far. Ah yes, Donald Trump is a fascist because the Marines in LA are acting responsibly and appropriately, and he launched a parade, and that's somehow connected to the fascism that we're seeing in LA. You cannot make this stuff up. I mean, who is this convincing? Well, I think I have the answer. No one.
No King's Day protests. Are y'all blaming Donald Trump for being born? Donald Trump's birthday has been June 14th, all 79 years of his life. It just so happened that the Army's 250th anniversary is on the same day. We have the strongest military in the world. Americans, where is your pride? Why wouldn't we show off our strength a little bit? We can step on anybody. But Donald Trump's wasting money. Joe Biden spent $20 million for Sesame Street in Iraq. Stop acting like y'all give a f***, you don't. Donald Trump spending $20 million on Americans. Instead of hating on your country, why don't you celebrate with your goddamn country for once? Keep it up, Donald Trump, and happy birthday to you as well. Hopefully this parade goes well.
Nobody's buying this garbage anymore. It's the kind of manufactured outrage that clearly only plays and only works in left-wing echo chambers. This ridiculous, played-out narrative attempting to paint everything that Donald Trump does as somehow evil, fascist, the next threat to democracy. Well, it's clearly now so weak that even some Democrats aren't freaking falling for it. Here's what Democrat Senator John Fetterman had to say, quote, "This parade is compromised of our sons, daughters, mothers, and fathers, the very best of us. Regardless of your politics, it's appropriate to celebrate the 250 years of sacrifice, dedication, and service. Well, would you look at that? It doesn't seem like the Democrat propaganda is landing, not even a little bit. Not even with their own. Now again, like I said yesterday, the Dems are just making absolute frickin' fools of themselves. They're taking wholesome moments like this and trying to convince you that this is the first step in losing your country.
Mr. President, on behalf of the United States Army, the Army Golden Knights, I would like to present to you this flag, which was flown over our nation's capital in free fall during the Army's 250th birthday celebration.
We got Donald Trump standing in the rain next to Melania, being presented the American flag that was flown over the Capitol during a skydiving jump by the Army Golden Knights. In my view, it was an incredible, wholesome moment, and yet somehow the left is spinning it into a dictator moment. It's absolutely exhausting, and I think it really highlights the real reason why the left is losing it. They don't like those kinds of moments because it makes Trump look presidential, and they can't stand it. They can't stand it when Donald Trump receives the respect that any other president would, because their entire goal is to diminish him. If Donald Trump is being granted the respect and the admiration that any other president would, it just drives them frickin' crazy. And so they take these moments and they attempt to twist them as much as they can. And the next dishonest angle I'm seeing Democrats running with is that Donald Trump did this all for himself because it's his birthday. His birthday just happened to be basically on the same day as the Army's anniversary, and so they're attempting to take that and make it seem as if Donald Trump launched this whole thing for himself. It's incredibly stupid and dishonest. And again, the optics are just so bad. I think the behind the scenes photos really help put things into perspective. We've got this sweet behind the scenes moment where Lara Trump posted a photo of an impromptu birthday gathering with Trump and his family. They're all together, a loving family, all smiles, celebrating his birthday. It's yet again just another wholesome moment, but the left looks at this stuff and their eyes go bloodshot. Their veins start popping. They see fascism, they see Kim Jong-un and his military parade, but I'm pretty sure most people with normal brains and eyes and ears just see a president happy on his birthday celebrating with his family. It's a real nothing to see here moment. All of the frickin' noise for nothing. Everything built on slander, false premises, dishonesty. Just like their favorite talking point, that this whole event was a waste of money. Yeah, I don't think so.
It was designed essentially as one big recruiting video and package, and they couldn't spend this kind of money to get this kind of attention. Remember, they spend about $2 billion a year trying to get this. Whatever this price tag is going to be, it's, to your point, Lawrence, going to be worth it. 250 years, the U.S. Army has fought, bled, and died for America, and this is what this day was about.
The cost was obviously minimal and definitely worth it. And if anything, the fact that they only spent $45 million and the event was rather tame, it was pretty humble, again puts the Democrats in such a bad light. Ooh, it's so wasteful. They spent $45 million. I mean, come on. It's a drop in the frickin' bucket, especially considering the very obvious ROI on that $45 million. And don't you think if Donald Trump viewed himself as king and he planned on throwing this massive event for himself, don't you think it would look something more like what you see in North Korea? Yeah, well then you see the actual event, and it once again clearly shows how dishonest the Democrats were being. They said it was gonna look like Pyongyang. But like I said, it was humble.
Lincoln in their ranks. After the 9/11 terrorist attacks, Rangers were called upon to lead the way in the global war on terrorism. As part of the U.S. Army's...
It didn't have that same image. It was casual. It was just a basic celebration. It wasn't a show of force. It wasn't about putting as many tanks and military members projecting strength. It was a basic, wholesome event that it seemed the service members really enjoyed taking part in. That's it. And I think most people viewed it as such. Most people watching didn't see it as a big deal, thought it was kind of cool, maybe felt a little bit of pride in country, maybe started to feel a little bit more appreciative of the people who dedicate their lives to military service. No big deal. Meanwhile, the Democrats, well, they also had a display that was in clear juxtaposition on the same day.
No! Fat boy! Fat! No!
I mean, what an absolute L. The Democrats made all this noise so that they could purposely create this contrast. The whole play was to make Donald Trump look bad in comparison and make the Democrats look like the heroes of the day standing up to American fascism. But instead, look what we got. A rather benign, patriotic event presented alongside complete Democrat degeneracy. What an absolute, utter embarrassment. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.